Cancer, anorexia, murder, a devastating plane crash. These talented musicians all died way too young, but their legacies live on in their music. When he was young, Chris Trousdale auditioned for a project that would turn out to be the teen pop boy band Dream Street. In a behind-the-scenes interview, he explained, "We didn't know what exactly was going to be put into all this stuff. We just auditioned like normal, danced, sang, do what we do best, and it took off, and we were really happy about it." The band put out a self-titled album that topped the Billboard Top Independent Albums chart. While singles like It Happens Every Time ruled the Radio Disney charts, they embarked on a tour supporting fellow pop sensation Aaron Carter. According to Billboard, in 2002, parents of the boy band members sued management, alleging that the underage boys were exposed to alcohol and pornography. They broke up soon afterward. Trousdale then crossed over into acting.
Are you okay?
He starred as himself in the 2005 film The Biggest Fan and went on to appear in Disney Channel shows like Shake It Up and Austin and Ally. In 2020, he acted in the Netflix holiday rom-com A New York Christmas Wedding. Later that year, Trousdale died from complications related to COVID-19. He was 34. On Instagram, Trousdale's former Dream Street bandmate Jesse McCartney paid tribute to the late star, writing, "Chris had an explosively charming personality with boundless amounts of talent." Sarah Harding was part of the ultra-successful British girl group Girls Aloud, which was formed on the TV show Popstars The Rivals. Harding and her band ruled the British music charts with hits like Sound of the Underground and Something Kinda Ooh. The group was together on and off until 2013, at which point they went on a reunion tour and then called it quits for good. The band announced on Twitter, "Your love and support will stay with us forever, but we have now come to the end of our incredible time together." Harding went on to launch a solo career. Appearing on This Morning, she said shooting a music video without her former bandmates was a very different experience.
It was very strange, it was, but it was a really fun day. It's just there was so much more to do.
In August 2020, Harding announced on Twitter that she had been diagnosed with breast cancer. 13 months later, the pop star died from the disease, aged 39. Former bandmate Cheryl recalled in an essay for Vogue, "Sarah was the sparky one of our group. She was full of the spark of life and loved what we did." Aaron Carter first found fame in the early 2000s as the adorable younger brother of Backstreet Boys breakout Nick Carter. Aaron was a star in his own right, having released hits like I Want Candy and That's How I Beat Shaq. His second album, Aaron's Party, Come and Get It, went triple platinum. Within a few years, he was dating both Hilary Duff and Lindsay Lohan, after putting in a memorable appearance in Lizzie McGuire. This caused an infamous feud between the Disney Channel queens, but Aaron had a simple explanation for what happened. He told CNBC, "I just got a little bored." As his career fizzled, he spent the next part of his life embroiled in debt and scandal. On top of suing his former manager Lou Pearlman for unpaid royalties, he filed for legal emancipation from his parents, accusing them of embezzlement. The star was open about his experiences with addiction, entering rehab in September 2022 amid a custody battle over his son.
Do you feel like you're an addict?
Of course I'm an addict.
Yeah.
I don't have to feel like it. I am.
On November 5th, 2022, the singer was found dead in his home at the age of 34. Tributes poured in from his former co-stars and family, including Duff, who wrote on Instagram, "Boy, did my teenage self love you deeply." Nick, who had been estranged from his brother toward the end of his life, wrote, "Even though my brother and I have had a complicated relationship, my love for him has never, ever faded." In the 1990s, the R&B girl group TLC garnered legions of fans thanks to hits like No Scrubs, Waterfalls, and Unpretty, scoring 9 top 10 hits. In addition to Tion T-Boz Watkins and Rosanda Chili Thomas, the third member was Lisa Left Eye Lopes. She had her finger on the pulse of pop culture, telling MTV News, "A lot of things that are attributed to pop come from hip-hop first, so no matter what turn hip-hop takes, whatever hip-hop decides to do, it's going to spread, because hip-hop will try anything."
The most important thing to me is that I take my experiences and the knowledge that I have and share it with the world.
After achieving cultural domination with TLC, Lopes put out a solo album called Supernova in 2001. She explained the inspiration for the title in an interview with MTV, saying, "A supernova is a rare star, and it increases its normal shine up to 1 billion times in brightness. It's very important to me that I reach as many people as I can through my music and through love and through healing." Sadly, this rare star died the following year. She was in Honduras on her way to a spiritual retreat when her car crashed. Shortly before her death, she told Rolling Stone, "Everyone feels like they know me because they follow the news, and they don't have a clue as to who I am." She was only 30 when she died. Sam Cooke was known as the King of Soul. In the 50s and 60s, he released numerous super successful singles that blended genres, bringing soul music into mainstream American listening. As AllMusic wrote in a review of his hit Cupid, Cooke helped usher in a new era of pop composition that combined Latin, R&B, jazz, and mainstream pop elements. Speaking with Dick Clark on American Bandstand, Cooke had an idea as to why his career had taken off the way it had. "I think the secret is really observation. If you observe what's going on and try to figure out how people are thinking and determine the times of your day, I think you can always write something that the people will understand." Iconic songs like Wonderful World and A Change Is Gonna Come proved him right. Cooke's legacy was cut short when he was killed in 1964, aged 33. He was shot by a motel manager during an incident involving a young woman he'd picked up at a nightclub, who later claimed he'd kidnapped her. Cooke's death was ruled a justifiable homicide, but questions about the incident have lingered for decades. Boxing great Muhammad Ali was reported to have commented, "If Cooke had been Frank Sinatra, the Beatles, or Ricky Nelson, the FBI would be investigating." Mama Cass Elliot was a part of the successful recording group The Mamas and the Papas. The band was famous for hits like California Dreamin' and Monday Monday. Within a few years, the group disbanded and Elliot embarked on a solo career. She confessed in a 1968 interview with Rolling Stone that she wasn't really a fan of the Mamas and the Papas' music. "I will admit in all honesty, there are a very few songs on all the Mamas and Papas albums that I'm really proud to listen to. I don't have the records in my house. Not because I'm a snob, I just don't feel like listening to them." In her solo career, she recorded hits like Dream a Little Dream of Me and appeared in a number of television specials, including hosting her own The Mama Cass television program and Don't Call Me Mama Anymore.
And I would like to, to have a last name like a real person.
In 1974, she completed a run of well-reviewed shows at the London Palladium. Several days later, aged 32, she died of a heart attack. The Hollywood Reporter suggested she'd choked to death on a ham sandwich, which was untrue. Writer Sue Cameron confessed to People that she printed the lie at the urging of Elliot's manager, Alan Carr, who was afraid drugs had been involved and worried for Cass's reputation.
It's, gravy for the media to go, "Oh, look, the fat lady died of eating." It still hurts me to my bones.
The autopsy found no drugs, alcohol, or even food present, but the myth persists to this day. Country singer Patsy Cline is considered one of the most influential artists of all time. Boasting huge hits like Crazy and Walkin' After Midnight, her songs were massive on both the pop and country charts. In 2003, singer LeAnn Rimes attempted to explain the musician's enduring legacy in an interview with CBS News. Her voice was so powerful and amazing. You can put her up against any artist now, and she would blow a lot of those away. To come across a true singer like that doesn't happen very often. When she was only 30 years old, Cline boarded a small plane with fellow country stars Lloyd Cowboy Coppice and Hawkshaw Hawkins. Cline's manager, Randy Hughes, was flying the aircraft. The commercial flight originally booked for the artists had been canceled due to bad weather. They were discouraged from attempting the journey themselves. Hughes was an amateur pilot, and he was unable to land the plane safely. All four were killed when their flight crashed just 85 miles short of a Nashville airstrip. Speaking about the tragedy decades later, Cline's husband, Charlie Dick, told the Tennessean, "Today, Patsy seems to get top billing. But Patsy was a big fan of Coppice and Hawk, and they were stars. Everybody on that plane was important to the music business, and all of them were top dogs." Jeff Buckley's father, Tim Buckley, may have been a folk music star in the 70s, but his son spent the 90s forging his own path. He was a session musician, a cover artist, and an independent singer-songwriter before finally releasing his only album, the critically acclaimed Grace. According to Rolling Stone, Buckley wrote his own press bio, in which he described himself as the warped love child of Nina Simone and all four members of Led Zeppelin, with the fertilized egg transplanted into the womb of Edith Piaf, out of which he is born and left on the street to be tortured by the bad brains. His words point to the wide influences he drew from in his own music. On Grace, he put everything to work. Columbia Records A&R executive Steve Berkowitz told Rolling Stone that the recording sessions were chaotic. As he recalled, it was hundreds of ideas and guitar parts and vocal parts and backward parts and extra drum parts. Several years later, the musician headed to Tennessee to record a follow-up. While swimming in the Memphis harbor, Jeff was overwhelmed by a speedboat wake and drowned. He was 30 years old. Buckley is best remembered for his cover of Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah, which appeared on Grace. Jeff had a sensual take on the song, explaining to OOR magazine, "Whoever listens closely to Hallelujah will discover that it is a song about sex, about love, about life on Earth." Karen Carpenter was half of the brother-sister pop duo The Carpenters, who released smash hits like Please Mr. Postman and Top of the World. Her brother Richard did most of the arranging while Karen sang and played the drums. They enjoyed incredible success when she was still just a teenager, but by the following decade, they had to take some time off. In an attempt to quash speculation surrounding her health, Karen insisted that she wasn't ill and was simply tired out from working so hard for so long. In a 1981 interview, she claimed,
I was just pooped. When you've been on the road for all those years without stopping.
In 1983, Karen died of a heart attack brought on by complications due to anorexia. Decades later, in an interview with Reader's Digest, Richard confessed, "Losing Karen was absolutely devastating. I got through it as best as I could, by keeping myself busy working on some tracks which we hadn't finished, but where we had her vocals." Her death helped raise awareness of eating disorders, which had been little discussed in pop culture before her passing. A made-for-TV movie about Karen's life several years later brought more attention to the topic. If you or someone you know is struggling with an eating disorder, please contact the National Eating Disorder Association's helpline at 1-800-931-2237 or chat with one of their helpline volunteers on NEDA's website.